Archons are going to be able to deal with those Muliths pretty easily. And here comes another Archon in here. It looks like Much has decided to ignore this attack on his new base, though. Much is going to try and go in here and take out one of Luxury's bases. Luxury planting down more Sunken. Will they get there in time? I don't think that those other Sunkens will get there in time. Here come the Zealots. Zealots going in. Zealots very good against Sunken colonies. And the Archons holding back a little bit. The Archons are going to now go in now that the Hydralisks have shown themselves, but luckily those Archons need to try and engage the Muliths, and he's actually run past that base. Let's see if he's going to try and actually go in. No, he's just going to try and escape up the ramp and try and get out of there. He's not gonna, I thought he might have been trying to go down into Luxury's third base, the mineral only at the 9 o'clock position, a little bit inward, but he's decided just to get out of there. It was just a little bit too much defense there. He couldn't quite deal with it. Luxury played that pretty well, I have to say, despite taking a couple free hits from an Archon here. He's built up a lot of Muliths there. Oh, nice. Nicely done by Much. Getting that Suicide Storm off. He knew that Luxury was going to be diving in at that Templar and actually casted it right in a very nice spot for that. Another Storm going off. Takes out one or two Muliths. Another Storm going off. Taking out several Muliths. Oh my god, that was devastating for Luxury. Absolutely devastating. Luxury spent so much money on those Muliths and a couple nice Storms in addition to that Archon hit earlier. Just completely tore those Mutalisks apart. Now, Mutalisks can be extremely good against Templar because they can dodge the Storms very easily, but just a couple half hits of Storms on those Mutalisks, which were already damaged, Jesus, just slaughtered them. Absolutely slaughtered them. And Luxury was so shocked he couldn't even do anything with his last Mutalisk sitting there with 10 hit points or so in Much's base. I don't even know if he got that Mutalisk out in time. He just gave up on those Mutalisks. And Much, in the meantime, managing to secure his third base in the meantime. And this is looking very bad. Templar coming in here in the back. He's not going to be able to get within range of these Mulas. He needs... not Mulus, Hydralisk. He needs to get that Storm off on the main group of Hydralisk there. He does not get the Storm off. Much is actually in a little bit of trouble here. Luxury's built up a lot of forces, but now forces coming in, and Luxury's forces are pinchered between Speed Zealots with Archons and the cannons behind, and now there's going to be Storm coming in here. Actually, I don't think there's Storm enough energy on that Templar for Storm yet, but Luxury's forces still pinned into Much's base against his reinforcements, and so that huge army is now going to go down. If he'd managed to have that, and man, if he had not gotten pinned in, that army was probably would have been able to do a lot more damage. And those three Archons just, four Archons, just owning everything, and the Zealots in front as well. Man, absolutely ridiculous. I think that Much is firmly has a firm grasp on this game now. Again, despite having given up that air here. He's just in a really, really good position here. He's going to have observers out pretty soon here, and it's going to be perfect timing for the lurkers that are coming out. The lurkers are probably going to delay Much for a minute here, since he doesn't quite have the observers out yet. And he doesn't have any Dragoons either, but I wouldn't be surprised if Much, as soon as he sees those lurkers, he's going to have to build some Dragoons probably to help out with that. But in the meantime, there's not enough lurkers to do a lot of damage to Much's army at this point. A few more lurkers and it'll be pretty dangerous though. I mean, lurkers in groups can just own the heck out of Zealots. It's just ridiculous. Sometimes a pro gamer will make a little mistake and they'll run a group of Zealots through a field of lurkers, and you know, it's just like, it's worse than running through a minefield. It's just melt. It just absolutely melt. And yeah, so. Basically, Much is going to have to get something to deal with those. Oh, Hatchery almost goes down. Hatchery goes down. Wow. Snipe the Hatchery. And let's see. The probe is there. It looked like he was thinking of setting up his own Nexus there for a minute. But yeah, it's turning into a little bit of a contained game here. Both players kind of holding their sides of the map. This map is split diagonally from the two spawn points, bottom left to top right. And usually you do end up seeing players taking their half of the map, and because it's a lot easier to hold this middle here, and so this is a pretty common thing to see. It's just a huge field of lurkers burrowed with overlords around to try and pick off observers and that sort of thing, and hopefully Luxury does that. If he can get some Scourges into play and actually pick off the observers with Scourges, then he might stand a lot better chance in this. Otherwise, as you can see, he's just going to get his lurkers stormed to death. Oh, that Dragoon's going to come in and take a couple pot shots at that lurker and finish it off. Nicely done by Much. But yeah, I mean, that's... Oh, so here come the Scourges. Oh, they managed to take out the Observer. Jesus, Much's army must have been on move or something like that. The Dragoons didn't seem to be attacking the Scourges as much as they could have, and the Scourges did get in there, nicely taking out that Observer there. And so Much is, if he was planning an attack, he's going to have to hold it off for another minute or two here. Oh, never mind, he's got another Observer there. It's kind of dangerous to go in with only one Observer there, because then if your Observer gets sniped in the midst of battle, you can get owned pretty badly again by the lurkers, because then you're not able to attack the lurkers anymore. Oh, what are you doing, Much? Oh, he's sending an Observer there. Luckily, Luxury wasn't paying too much attention. There come the Scourges going in. They take out the Observer. No Observer for Much anymore. Again, he doesn't have a backup Observer, so a little bit of a bad situation for him. He does have a lot of Zealots, and it's going to make it more difficult to brave up that ramp against those lurkers. Much not quite out of it yet at this point. Like I said, see, he's built a lot more Dragoons to try and deal with those lurkers there, and Luxury has, of course, very intelligently spaced out his lurkers so they can't get hit by storms at the same time. That's the thing about lurkers, is they're a lot more effective if they're clumped up, because then they can just concentrate their damage a lot. But then they're more vulnerable to things like Psystorm. Psystorm can go off on a group of lurkers here. I think I have to give the advantage to Luxury at this point. He's got more bases. He's got a little bit better tech, I think. Well, I wouldn't say better tech, but he's getting his defilers out and what have you. So it's going to be... oh, no. They're showing there's a gap. There's a gap in Luxury's line, and it looks like Much might try and exploit that gap. He's going to try and move up the left side there and move in, so he's not going up the ramp, and that's going to make a big difference. He's going to be able to surround those lurkers. Jesus Christ, Storm going off over everything. A couple swarms going down to try and save him, but there's just too many Zealots in the mix. I think Much may have taken the advantage here, actually. There weren't as many lurkers in that containment as I thought there were. And Much is able to take that ridge, but at a high cost. You can see, remember how many Zealots he had beforehand, and now he just did not have a lot of Zealots at all with that army. He needs to get, I think, some more Zealots in there, especially considering the fact that he just saw a huge Ling army from Luxury, although the Storms could take it. Oh, he can't lose those Templar! I can't lose those Templar! Oh, Archon's barely saving those Templar there. It looks like he morphed those Templar into an Archon out of desperation to save them almost, but managing barely to save his army there. He does, like I said, he does have a lot of Dragoons here, but he's going to have to do some nice Storms. And you know what? Actually, come to think of it, Much is definitely the kind of player to be able to deal with that with Storms. He's got very good Storm placement, and if you can place your Storms just right, you can take out a lot of Lings without too many Zealots to back up your Dragoons. So, but it's going to be up to a lot of micro on Much's part. And here he's going in with no, he's not going in. Okay, good. I was going to say, he doesn't have quite enough Zealots to deal with this. Oh, no! Luxury going in for a little bit of drop here. I wonder if Much saw that. Much is trying to take out this base at the same time, and he might get his forces surrounded, actually, between the Sun Colonies. Lurkers coming in from behind against that army. Much trying to deal with it with part of his army, but in the meantime, a huge drop coming in on his main base. If Much loses his main base, that could be catastrophic. Cracklings falling out of those overlords. They are going to be able to take out this base pretty easily. Oh, he's got a Templar there. He's got a Templar. If he can storm those Lings in his main base, he'll be able to hold them off long enough for reinforcements to come out. And he has taken out Luxury's 12 o'clock base, so if he can hold off this attack, that would be critical. It looks like he is going to be able to hold off the attack. Reinforcements coming in, and Dark